My name is Marissa. I am a great-granddaughter of Providenza through my mother. She had 8 kids. Aunt Josephine was the oldest. And then there was Frank, the only boy. There was Rose, Helen, Marion, who was named Nanutza, was her nickname. Elizabeth, well, her real name was Letizia, but they called her Elizabeth. Rose and Angelina. So there was the 8 of them. So Mary had Josephine, and Josephine had 2 kids, Marissa and William. And so that's the line of that part of the family. She was not supposed to be there that day. So she had forgotten her shears at work, and her shears was her working tools, kind of like today's world, your snap-on tools, right? You had to provide your own working tools, and they were very expensive. And so she was afraid that if she left them there, that they would be stolen. So she went back that day only to pick up her scissors. When she was there, she got locked in, and she was one of them that actually jumped to her death because they didn't have a choice. Basically, you either burned or jumped. And it left the whole family without, basically, they were orphans. She did not want to come to America. My great-grandfather, Frank, had a business, and apparently, from what we know, he was an import-export business, and so he would come to New York City, and every now and then he'd bring another child. He established 2 households, one in Italy, one in the US. And then all of a sudden she realized, oh my God, all my kids are now in the US. He wanted to come and immigrate to the US. She did not. 2 of the kids, Helen and Nanutza, stayed in Sicily. So there's still this broken family. Helen and Nanutza never came to the United States, and most of them never ever went back to Italy. I would like to get involved, and actually, it's interesting because this memorial is tying the cousins back together. Obviously, she had the 8 kids, were all over the place, and then the grandkids. And the grandkids moved all over the world too, and have been involved in different states. And so now the great grandkids, and it's kind of like tying us back together. Like, we don't all live right close together, so we don't spend time together. But I have one of the cousins in Italy said that he wants to come back, and my cousin in Florida is like, "Ooh, let's see if we can get together and meet at the same time up there." So I think that that's kind of a neat legacy that's happening with this, is it's bringing us back together as we've kind of all moved all over. I want to say her grandkids were rather successful, very, very successful if you look at what they did and how they succeeded in life. My mother was a bacteriologist. We've got a dentist who was the emirates of the dentistry in New York City. The folks in Italy became doctors. P. Buckley Moss, she's a world-renowned artist. My mother and Aunt Pat were the last remaining 2 grandchildren. And they all died in their 90s. Okay, they lived to forever. So really great, strong genes. This is my grandmother, and so this is Mary. And if you look at her, she looks very similar to Providenza. And this was painted by my Aunt Pat. So this is actually it's not a chalk, it's a pastel. So when you see Aunt Pat, most of her stuff is very distinctly Amish. She's got a theme that she worked with, and that's what she's known for. But I was just thinking about this. I was looking on the wall. This is my grandmother. She stays in my kitchen. So Aunt Josie moved to Miami, Florida, and she was the oldest daughter. They had groves of citrus and avocados down by like Miami and Homestead. And three of her grandchildren became firefighters, right? My son works for the fire department in Sarasota. So it's like, I don't know why. It's something is like, is it kind of fate that there's something that's woven into this family that still continues to surface? I think she had a lot of guts. I think of her as a really strong, assertive woman. In the stories that she didn't want to come. And so for her to like uproot everything else and come to the US, I don't know if the thought was ever we're going to go back to Italy. There was no other family here. I think she got, in a situation that was served up to her and she made the best she possibly could out of it. And I think that obviously whatever she did with raising those kids before she passed had a big influence on their focus of life, that they're going to go do something. I love to keep it alive. I wish that the Triangle Fire had some place that you could document some of like even an oral or written history, just to say, hey, these people are not just names on a tombstone, right? They are people that have families that, continued on. With my great grandmother, I mean, there's a whole host of people all over the place. It needs to stay alive. It's just documenting it, I think, and talking about it. A lot of people don't know it. A lot of people don't realize it really was the catalyst for OSHA, right? And for hazmat and for work environments and for the union. And if you think today, you're like, oh, it's just a tool, but understanding that it was so important, that was the investment for her to work.